third hour, a very sad story for two former LSU athletes or two former LSU students is being published over at USA Today. A story that started on August 3rd for USA Today, 4 days before former LSU running back Derrius Guice was arrested in Ashburn, Virginia for domestic violence charges up there, and is scheduled to be in court in a Virginia courtroom on August 28th. A USA Today investigation found out that two former student athletes or two former students at LSU are alleging that Derrius Guice raped them while he was on campus. The alleged incidents occurred between January and June of 2016. There is a reference to Ed Ogeron in this article with a comment that Ogeron made during that time. And this is going to be something that LSU is going to have to address from a public relations standpoint. As far as the legal circumstances, this seems like this is more trouble for troubled running back Derrius Guice. That is a Baton Rouge native and was drafted from the second round by the Washington Redskins just a couple of years ago and is yet to really make an impact due to injury at the next level. He was waived. He was cut by the Washington Redskins a day after he was arrested on August 6th, or he was arrested on August 7th, and he was cut that day. But as you read this story on the USA Today, it seems like that Guice was in that he had some incidents before he got to the NFL, according to these alleges.
You know, I don't know what I don't know if this is the stuff that they uncovered in the pre-draft process, right? When you had Mayock out there and he's talking about like the things that I know, you know, there's reasons why this is so hidden. When everybody sat here and we defended him because it's one of those guys where he has a great natural charisma, right? And as the women, and this is the most heartbreaking part to me in all these situations like this, is that the women feel completely helpless in terms of going public, in terms of seeking help, because these characters are so beloved, and he was super beloved on campus. And if you've ever dealt with Derrius Guice, not in that situation, chances are you had a positive interaction. I mean, I was completely fooled. I had no idea about any of this, and now as and I've always, it always sickens you, but I can't help but have new perspective now that I have two daughters, and you start to think about them getting older and them being in these sorts of situations, and it's heartbreaking. And it's not just when the act goes down, but it's the kind of fallout from the act that continues to haunt these people years down the road. Now, Derrius Guice is going to get his. I think the other thing is, what did or did LSU not know? I mean, that's what they have to address here, because the story does not read very good. It doesn't read good for the school in terms of things being reported and arguably not followed up on. I'll like to see what their explanation is there. And the anecdote about Ogeron doesn't read well at all either. One of the players was dating, there was a player dating one of the girls, and according to the story, allegedly, Coach O told the player something along the lines of like, "Oh, well, everybody's girlfriend sleeps around or sleeps with other people, so that happens." But look, I don't know if that's true. Like I said, that is alleged, that is in the story, but the fact that it is in there means that I believe that they have to respond or have to address it in one manner or another. And that's the other sad part about this, Jordy, is like, to me, it doesn't even have to be that nefarious, and in a way that's almost more depressing, right? If there is somebody pulling the strings and being like, we have to sweep this under the rug, that's something you can understand. That's something that, like, yes, that's evil, but that's like clear evil, right? You kind of see it right in front of you. More depressing to me is that this just is kind of sometimes the natural rhythm that these stories take, that just don't like people want to remain willfully ignorant. If you're in the administration and you hear about this story, how much digging do you actually do? Do you want to uncover the truth, or is living in that era of plausible deniability. Is that the more comfortable zone to exist in?
You can help me out on this, and I think that LSU, if they knew anything about it and they didn't follow up, they'll have answers. They'll have questions that they'll have to answer on this. And from the timeline standpoint, January to June of 2016, Les Miles was the head coach of the LSU football team. The quote from Orgeron is not good. I am curious on why, when this happens, why the police are not brought in and why it's put on the university. There's so many examples of universities letting people down in these situations, whether it's knowledge that they have, whether it's knowledge that they uncover, and especially when it's dealing with an athlete.
So I have no idea, because obviously that's kind of the victim has to make those choices. If I had to guess, if you maybe it's a feeling that you're going to your immediate supervisors at the school. Maybe it's a feeling that you can remain anonymous if you go through the school channels versus maybe having to file a police report where they can try to protect your identity, but maybe they're less successful at it. And I understand not wanting to be publicly known because you will get torn to shreds by all these crazy LSU fans that don't want to believe it or want to tear you down, all these things. So it's depressing on so many levels, and I don't know why. And I hope that LSU addresses this as soon as they can and puts protocols into place to make sure that this doesn't happen again.